Hello friends, Brandy here with Falcon Healing Arts. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to my channel. So if you have heard about energy cord cutting and you're wondering if this is something that you need or not, then this video is for you. I'm sharing the 7 reasons why I think you might need energy cord cutting that you can consider. I'm also going to share a cord cutting meditation that you can do by yourself. I did cover this subject in my Free Your Authenticity Challenge, where I also have an excellent guided cord cutting meditation, but I wanted to highlight this topic again in much more detail because so many people need it. Perhaps you do too. If you're a follower of my YouTube channel or my blog, then you're probably pretty open to the idea that energy is the basis of everything. It's how we relate to each other and everything around us. But you may not realize how affected you are by other people's energy and the dynamic between you. Some connections can grow into cords, which are these thick, you can think of them as like codependent connections between you two. In some cases, this is healthy, like with a parent and child. Of course, you need that strong bond, this strong connection between you, but that does tend to change as the child becomes older and more independent. But in other cases, especially between adults, these energy cords can be very unhealthy, dysfunctional, and limit our ability to feel independent and free. So if you want to experience the most joy in your life and you want to respect that other people can experience that too, then it is important to be mindful of these energy cords forming and then to clear them as soon as possible. There's a few ways you can do it, either by yourself or with an energy healer. After we go through this list of why you may need energy cord cutting, then I'll talk about the process that I believe is the most effective from experience. I'll be clearing up some misconceptions too as we go through this list. And the one that I want to mention right off the bat here is that you can form energy cords not just between another individual, but it could be with a group, it could be with an organization, it can be with a substance. So please keep this in mind as we're going through this list. The number one reason why you may need energy cord cutting, this is what I hear about the most, is that you're having a hard time letting go of an unhealthy, toxic relationship. So this is a relationship that is harming you in some way. And perhaps this is a romantic relationship that you're having a hard time letting go of, but it can also be one that you have let go of, but you're still thinking about that person constantly, or they are constantly reaching out to you, and it's very hard to have your own space. There may be many reasons underneath why you're having a hard time establishing boundaries. Perhaps you don't want to shut them out completely, afraid that that may limit your ability to love or to be loved. There may be an underlying fear of being alone, and making excuses for the other person's behavior keeps that cord strong. And sometimes it may take another person saying something to you that this is not the way most relationships are for you to see that a change needs to happen. Staying connected to a toxic relationship often points to there being a deficiency in personal power, and you'll need to consciously let go of this cord and any hooks that might be in you from this other person before you can start to feel that you have space and your power back. The second reason why you may need energy cord cutting is that you don't have your own identity. It can be wrapped up in someone else. And this is where you might find that you are too linked up with an organization or a team that identifies you. Without them, you feel less significant. This could be maybe you're a partner or spouse to someone who has an important role in the community and you feel that your identity is linked up with them. So this is where you may have an energy cord to an association or a separate identity or a role that doesn't completely define you. Number 3 is that you have addictive behaviors. If you can't imagine living without someone or something in your life, then too much of your personal power is wrapped up in this person, place, or thing. And there is a cord preventing you from having sovereignty, from being in control. And this is one that you really need to be ready for, to release this cord, this bond, because of the immense emotional investment you have in this connection. So for this reason, if you do have addictive behaviors, it is a good idea to be working with a practitioner who can help you clear these energy cords and also process what is happening underneath it. What is the root of this? Why was it established in the first place? The 4th reason why you may need energy cord cutting is that you are easily influenced or manipulated by this other person or thing. You may feel like you have less control in your life, that they are directing it for you. And this is where there's not just a bond in between you, but it's more like a hook in you, like they're dragging you along and you don't have as much control. So to get your personal power back, to feel sovereign within yourself, we need to let go of the hook and then cut or dissolve that bond. Number 5 is that you feel energetically drained. You feel physically drained. You might actually be getting sick a lot as well. And this is because when we have this cord, it is taking away at least some of our personal power. We do not feel whole, complete, and we therefore do not experience true health. The 6th reason why you may need energy cord cutting is that you are constantly thinking about the past, about a certain event that happened, a certain person you used to be with. There is this obsession with the past that is keeping you from living fully here and now in the present. You feel like you are stuck in your life. And this can also be wrapped up and mingled with the other reasons that I've already mentioned, with a toxic relationship or not having your own identity and such. But I mention this as separate because this may be the thing that you really notice and say, okay, I do that a lot. Perhaps I do need energy cord cutting now. And now finally, the 7th reason why you may need energy cord cutting is that you have bad dreams. And I do have a separate video on what nightmares mean. It is a connection that you have with another person's spirit. And this is a very deep one if it is affecting you in your dreams. So try not to brush it off. I know a lot of people don't take their dreams seriously, but this is a very strong cue that you can benefit from this deeper energetic work. So if you feel like any of the 7 reasons or signs applies to you, then I highly recommend that you do energy cord cutting. But before you do that, it's important to investigate what is the reason why you have this connection. Quite often, it is serving you in some way. And for a lot of people, there is a reluctance to do this. So if you are being triggered by this, oh, I need energy cord cutting, but I don't want to do it, I'm afraid to do it. And then when you have love in the mix, like with a romantic relationship, that makes it even more powerful. There's a lot to investigate there. So I highly recommend that you journal first or see a practitioner, try to talk through this. So to do cord cutting, your heart needs to want this. It needs to be a conscious decision. Otherwise, it's not going to work, or the cord will release and then grow again. And that is the reason why I suggest you do a cord cutting meditation. Because when you bring mindfulness into this process, then it is something you are consciously doing. It is something that you are wanting and you are directing. So even though I do cord cutting in my energy healing sessions, I always offer this guided meditation for them first. And again, we talk about why there is this connection, and it is quite often a process. It is not a one and done event. And having me do the energy cord cutting by myself as the client rests later in the future is still valuable, but they are usually at that point when they are fully receptive to releasing it. Okay, so if you are ready to do energy cord cutting, what is the most effective way? When I first started learning about energy cord cutting, the most popular method I would hear about is using visualization. You and the other person or the other thing see or feel the cord in between you, and then you cut it and imagine that that energy returns to each person. However, there is still that root of disconnect. There is still a disturbance of why the cord made a connection in the first place. And sometimes if the people are very sensitive, doing the energetic cord cutting can feel very harsh. It can feel extremely disruptive. There is another way I've heard of the cords just being yanked out. Again, that could be disruptive too, and it could actually leave these energetic holes within you. And having a hole there is going to be filled by something. And that something could be a cord to another person or a substance. So the way I do it, the way I have learned is most effective is to use light, is to use source energy to actually push the cords out from you. And so as you're releasing these cords within you, you're actually being filled up with source energy, and this reestablishes your power. So the holes are filled with this essence. So quite simply, I just ground first. I establish a root down into the earth. I connect up to the heavens above. I imagine that the sun, moon, stars, all the celestial essence is being combined into a compact white ball of light. And I'm going to visually move that light through me, through the core of my being. And I like to pause at the chakra regions because you know that the chakras are aligned with a certain development within us and a way that we express ourselves in the world. So if you notice that as you're bringing the ball of white light down, that you have an emotion, you have some type of strong response, maybe it feels stuck and you can't move through, you want to spend extra time there, and just note that this is a region that may be more affected. So if it's at the throat, so maybe the cord that you have with this person is preventing you from speaking clearly, to talk about the things that are important and meaningful to you, or trying to manifest something you're trying to create into the world. Just make note of where you're feeling it with your energy centers that might be connected to the other person, because it's going to be giving you a lot of information. Remember that we're doing this to prevent cords being created with other people and things too. Not just this one connection, but preventing it from happening again with someone else. Okay, so I usually bring that ball of white light down several times until I feel that it moves much easier and that you feel light and free again. Definitely write about this experience in your journal so you don't forget it, and you may start to notice that there are habits and patterns that you can learn from. So if you want to go through the guided meditation of this, I'll link up the video to the Free Your Authenticity Challenge where I focus on cord cutting. You can add that to your saved list and do it as much as you feel you need to. And while you're watching that, consider signing up for the whole challenge, and you will get emails for each of the 5 days sent to your inbox I got a lot of great feedback from the people who did this challenge live, and I know that you will experience a lot of benefits from it too. So let me know what you think, friends. Let me know if you feel like you have an energy cord with someone or something. You don't need to give me details if you don't want to. I know this could be very personal, but definitely let me know if you have any questions. I would love to help you out. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and consider subscribing to this channel, hitting the notification bell if you want to know when I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, friends. Well wishes to you.